Hey there, welcome back to Applied Wisdom, Literature for Living Better.
Great to be back.
Today, we're really digging into Thibaut Meurisse's book, Master Your Emotions. It's subtitled, A Practical Guide to Overcome Negativity and Better Manage Your Feelings.
Yeah, and it really lives up to that practical part.
Definitely. So for those of you already on that personal growth path, this deep dive should give you some really solid, actionable tools, things you can use to navigate your inner world a bit more effectively.
Absolutely. Meurisse, he kind of cuts through a lot of the, let's say, fluff you sometimes find in this area. He offers a very straightforward way to understand what's going on with our feelings.
And more importantly, what we can actually do about them, right?
Exactly. That's the goal today. Pull out those key insights, those nuggets you can, start applying pretty much immediately. Get those aha moments going.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Meurisse really emphasizes that emotions aren't just these random things that happen to us.
No, not at all. He sees them as absolutely fundamental to our experience. They're constantly influencing our decisions, shaping how we perceive things all the time.
Like an undercurrent.
Pretty much, yeah. And just recognizing that ubiquity, that they're always there in the background, that's like step one.
So why is mastering them, or at least getting better at managing them, so important for personal growth? What's the actual benefit here?
Well, Meurisse lays out some really tangible benefits.
Yeah.
When you get a better handle on your emotions, it tends to lead to better relationships, for one. Clearer decision-making, because you're not just reacting.
Makes sense. Less stress, too, I imagine.
Definitely less stress, more resilience when you hit those inevitable bumps in the road, and fundamentally a much deeper understanding of yourself.
Because unchecked emotions can really derail things, can't they? They can hinder your progress if you let them run wild.
They absolutely can.
Right.
So yeah, this isn't just some nice-to-have skill. He positions it as pretty crucial for anyone serious about growth.
And you mentioned his approach is practical. What makes it stand out?
It's just very direct, very actionable. He avoids overly academic language. The whole point seems to be empowering you, the listener, to actually take control, or maybe influence is a better word, your emotional responses.
Okay, influence. I like that distinction. So how does he suggest we even start to understand this emotional landscape? It can feel pretty messy sometimes.
Well, one of the first big ideas is seeing emotions as information signals.
Signals? How so?
Think of it like this. Anger might be signaling that a boundary has been crossed, right? Fear could be signaling a perceived threat. They aren't inherently good or bad.
It's data.
Exactly. They're carrying messages. So the question becomes, what message is this feeling trying to send me right now?
That's a really different way to look at it. Instead of, I hate feeling angry, it's, okay, anger, what are you telling me?
Precisely. And he also really highlights the mind-body connection, how emotions manifest physically.
Oh, yeah, like your heart racing when you're anxious.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or your jaw clenching when you're mad, or that pit in your stomach. Being aware of those physical sensations can be like an early warning system. It tells you an emotional shift is happening.
Have you noticed specific physical reactions in yourself?
Oh, for sure. Stress often hits me in the shoulders first. That tension. Recognizing it helps me pause.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes it's my breathing that gets shallow. So, okay, signals, physical sensations. What else shapes our emotional reactions, according to Meurisse?
The huge piece is our beliefs and the narratives we construct. How we interpret an event is massively influenced by our past experiences, our core beliefs about ourselves and the world.
The stories we tell ourselves.
Exactly. Those stories often fuel the emotion more than the event itself. Meurisse makes a key point. It's rarely the situation, but our perception of the situation that drives the feeling.
Okay, that's powerful. So if you think about a recent time you got upset, what story were you telling yourself about what happened?
Right. And was that the only possible story? Could you have interpreted it differently? That's where the leverage is.
Which leads back to that idea of influence versus control, doesn't it?
It does. We might not stop that initial flash of feeling, that first wave. But Meurisse argues we absolutely have the power to influence its intensity, how long it lasts, and crucially, how we respond to it.
Moving from automatic reaction to a conscious response.
That's the heart of emotional mastery, as he frames it. Taking that pause, understanding, then choosing.
Let's talk about those negative emotions then. Things like anger, fear, sadness. Our instinct is often just to push them away, right? Suppress them.
Yeah, that's a common reaction. But Meurisse really helps us reframe them. He shows how even these uncomfortable emotions serve essential functions. They're not enemies.
So what purpose could anger possibly serve?
Well, it might alert you to injustice, or like we said, a boundary violation. It can motivate you to take action, to change something that isn't right. Fear alerts you to potential danger, real or perceived. Sadness can signal a need for rest, reflection, or processing a loss.
So instead of suppressing, we should be listening, asking what they're trying to communicate.
That's the idea. Start listening. What might this fear be pointing towards? What boundary needs attention if I'm feeling frustrated? Is this sadness asking me to acknowledge a loss I haven't dealt with?
He breaks down specific ones, right? Fear, anger.
Yeah, fear and anxiety often relate to the future, perceived threats, maybe a lack of control. Anger and frustration, like we said, often about injustice, obstacles, unmet expectations. Sadness and grief are natural responses to loss, vital for healing.
What about guilt and shame? Those feel particularly heavy.
They are, and they often relate to our actions or our self-perception, linked to maybe internalized rules or expectations. He'd likely encourage asking, are these feelings genuinely aligned with my core values, or are they coming from external pressure, maybe old conditioning?
But what happens if we just keep ignoring these messages or get stuck in them?
That's where Meurisse warns about the downward spiral. You can get caught in rumination, just replaying negative thoughts over and over.
Oh, the hamster wheel of negativity.
Exactly. And he also mentions emotional contagion, how easily negativity can spread between people, how that feels.
Definitely. Spend time with someone complaining and suddenly you feel drained or start complaining too.
It's a real phenomenon.
Yeah.
So his core principle comes back: don't suppress, acknowledge the feeling, try to understand its message, and then consciously choose a more constructive interpretation or response. That reframing is key.
Okay, this all makes sense conceptually, but how do we actually do this? What's in the toolkit Meurisse offers?
All right, tool number one is cultivating awareness. Big surprise, right? But crucial.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness is a big part of it. Paying attention to the present moment, including your feelings, but without judgment. Just observing. Even a few focused breaths can create that vital space between the feeling and your usual reaction.
That little pause can change everything.
It really can. Another tool is journaling or self-reflection. Writing things down helps clarify your thoughts and feelings. Start seeing patterns.
Why do I always get upset in this situation?
Exactly. Journaling helps you unpack that. Even 5 minutes reflecting on your day, what emotions came up, why, can be incredibly insightful.
And identifying triggers. That sounds important.
Super important. Recognizing the specific situations, people, or even thoughts that reliably set off negative emotions. Once you know your triggers, you can anticipate them, prepare, or choose differently. What are some common ones you notice?
For me, feeling rushed or unprepared definitely triggers stress or certain kinds of criticism.
Knowing that is half the battle. Then there's the ABC model, which comes from cognitive behavioral therapy, but it's very practical here.
Remind us what ABC stands for.
Sure. A is the antecedent, the event, the trigger. B is your belief, the thought or interpretation you have about the event. C is a consequence, your emotional and behavioral reaction.
And the crucial part is the B, the belief.
That's usually where the leverage is. Meurisse emphasizes that it's often our beliefs about A that cause C, not A itself. So if you can identify and challenge those beliefs,
You can change the emotional outcome, the C.
you got it. Which leads into reprogramming your mind. This involves actively challenging negative self-talk. Those automatic thoughts like, I always mess this up, or this is impossible.
How do you challenge them effectively?
You question their validity. Ask yourself, is this thought really 100% true? What's the evidence for it? What's the evidence against it? What's a more balanced or realistic way to think about this?
And affirmations, where do they fit in?
Meurisse likely suggests using them wisely. Not just pie-in-the-sky stuff, but crafting positive statements that feel genuinely believable and supportive. Focusing on your strengths, your intentions, maybe progress you've made.
What about visualization? That sounds a bit different.
That's about emotional rehearsal. You mentally practice responding to tricky situations in the way you want to respond calmly, confidently. It's like building muscle memory for a more balanced emotional reaction.
Interesting. And he doesn't just focus on the mind, right? The body comes back into it.
Absolutely. Shifting your physical state is another tool. Your body language, your posture, standing tall can actually make you feel a bit more confident.
Fake it till you make it.
Sort of, but it's more about the feedback loop. Your body influences your mind and vice versa. Simple breathing techniques are huge here too. Slow, deep breaths can instantly calm your nervous system. Try it right now. Just a couple of deep breaths.
Takes breath. Yeah, it does help.
And then there are the lifestyle factors he emphasizes.
Sure.
Exercise, getting enough sleep, what you eat, especially focusing on, say, a healthy, perhaps plant-focused diet, all have a massive impact on your underlying emotional stability.
It's all connected. Mind, body, lifestyle.
It really is. Even small improvements in sleep or movement can make a noticeable difference. What's one small change you could make there starting today?
Maybe aiming for an extra 15 minutes of sleep or taking a short walk at lunch.
Perfect. It's about creating helpful habits. Consistency is the name of the game. Start small, be realistic, and definitely celebrate the small wins along the way. What's one tiny action related to emotional mastery you could commit to daily this week?
Maybe just pausing to take 3 deep breaths whenever I notice myself feeling stressed.
That's a great, achievable start. And it's not just about managing the negative stuff, is it? He talks about actively cultivating the positive.
Right, beyond just damage control.
Exactly. Actively fostering positive emotions like gratitude, joy, love, inspiration. That's a key part of creating a better overall emotional climate for yourself.
The power of gratitude comes up again.
It does. Because it works. Regularly noting what you're thankful for, maybe in that journal, really shifts your perspective. What are 3 things you feel grateful for right now, just off the top of your head?
My coffee this morning, a good conversation I had yesterday, and the fact that it's not raining.
C, simple things. But consciously acknowledging them matters. Same with seeking and savoring joy, making time for things you genuinely enjoy, and really being present for them.
Not just rushing through the good stuff.
Right. And all these practices, awareness, reframing, cultivating positives, they build resilience.
Yeah.
Your ability to bounce back when things get tough, remembering setbacks are part of growth, not failures.
And our environment plays a role too, the people around us.
Hugely. Surrounding yourself with supportive environments and positive, encouraging people makes a big difference to your own emotional state. That emotional contagion works both ways.
So master your emotions really gives us a practical roadmap then. It's about taking charge of that inner world to live a more, emotionally intelligent and empowered life.
That's a great summary. And remembering, like you said earlier, it's an ongoing journey, not a destination you just arrive at. Constant practice, constant learning.
Well, this has been really insightful. Thank you for breaking down Meurisse's approach so clearly.
My pleasure. Hopefully it gives everyone listening some concrete ideas to start playing with.
Absolutely. We really hope these insights provide you with some actionable steps you can take, maybe even today, to enhance your own personal growth journey. So what's maybe one small emotional awareness practice you'll try this week? Just something to think about.
Good question to leave people with.
Thanks again for tuning in to Applied Wisdom, Literature for Living Better. Stay tuned for the next deep dive. And hey, if this discussion was helpful, please do like and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel reach more people.
It really does. Thanks, everyone.